Welcome in. What's going on? Flip the World Army. Hope everyone is doing amazing. As always, you know it wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't hear the door opening and shutting. Swear to God, she waits till we start. Bye. Going to get them horse hooves taken care of. Probably. Manny Petty. Who knows what she's doing? What's going on? We are back from Flipcon. Oh my goodness. Hope everybody is doing well. Let's see some people in the chat. I'm a resell it. What's going on, my man? And let me get on here because I put my topics in the I asked people for topics on Instagram, and I know I got some. So I always have to get those real quick. Because who knows, everybody on Instagram, when I put up the topics, basically what that is, if you're new popping in, I like to talk about everything under the sun. Doesn't just have to be about reselling. So let's see what we got here today. All right, got that pulled up. Hello. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Well, if you watch Trash to Cash, then you know that this is not considered a podcast, but that's the terminology that it identifies as. So that is what we're calling it. So welcome in. Made a lot of new friends last week at Flipcon. Met a lot of great people. Listened to a lot of great people talk. Picked the ears and minds of people in the reseller community that have like-minded ideas, goals. Going to get into that for this hour, and then plus whatever you guys in the chat want to holler about. If you are in the chat and you attended Flipcon, make it be known. Let everybody know I was there. I seen it. What's going on, Tracy Vasquez Vintage? What's going on? Seattle. Flipcon was amazing. Let's just get right into it. I mean, just straight to the point. Flipcon was exactly what I knew it would be. It was I think I described it last night on Paul's live show as a high school reunion that you actually want to go to. It was great. Stacy's in the chat. She was obviously there. That was low-key one of the highlights for me, was the fact that the mysterious, invisible Stacy, the better part of Flip the World, was in attendance and introducing herself to the reseller world. She's been behind the scenes digging and helping out and doing all that for years. Never wanted to be on the videos or anything like that. So this was a big step out of her comfort zone. But I think everybody that was there saw that she had a freaking blast. She didn't hold back. She dressed up for 80s night, got second place in the costume contest. That was really cool, having everybody cheer her on. But let's just start from the beginning. That's usually how stories work, right? Got there. We actually got there at like 10. Even though everyone told I hired a Backpages escort from Charlotte. Yeah, so on the panel, on one of the panels, somebody had asked about Stacy, and they were like, "I can't believe she's real." And I was like, "Oh, that's not really her. I just hired a escort when I landed." So I gotta spice it up, right? I gotta spice up the story, flip the world story. So we actually got to Flipcon Wednesday at like 10 p.m. So we missed the first meet and greet, like the first day. Obviously, there were still people falling out from the ballroom. They were heading to the bar area, but we were able to just get in, get to bed, and get ready to go first thing on Thursday morning. What's up, Devin? Yeah, when you see her teeth, you know she's having a good time, or she's about to bite you. That's the scary thing when it comes to Stacy, is you don't know if she's smiling with her teeth or if she's about to take a chunk out of your arm. It's always 50-50. So Thursday, woke up, did the whole breakfast. It was great because it was like our meet and greet was in the morning. So we were refreshed. We had gotten the whole plane ride and grossness out of the way, and we were able to get into new clothes and just kind of refresh and restart. And of course, when we walk up, breakfast was at 8 on the first day, and there was people everywhere, but there was no food. Dun dun dun. And then I see Josh just standing by himself outside. So I was like, let me go say hi to Josh. Because usually when someone's just standing outside by themselves looking into the distance, something is not right. Yep. And my camera's going to keep doing its ghetto little thing, but we're going to keep it 100 the whole show. I just have to keep clicking it until I can figure out how to get this Irium candle off my thing. Hi from New York. Stacy looks like an amazing person. She was. Well, I mean, she is. Wait, no, she was. She's dead now. No, she was. She is an amazing person. Josh was a little distressed right off the bat. Hey, how you doing? Cracker Barrel was late with the delivery, but you know, everybody's had coffee. We're all hanging out, and we got it taken care of. Justin, the flipping accountant, went and picked it up because that's what gangsters do. They don't wait. They make stuff happen. So once everybody got fed, and that's not going to be annoying at all, the entire stream, if it keeps cutting out like that. Annoying. We just kind of chilled, got to meet and greet, had the opening ceremonies, and the panels were great. You know, learning how to, for a lot of people learning how to that are just now getting into maybe doing it full time, learning how to budget your lifestyle as far as if you have a family and how to, you still want to make sure that you're getting the things you need done in life done. If you have kids, obviously you got to put some kind of emphasis on raising them. You can't just dedicate yourself 100% to reselling. And then of course, I think everybody needs to be working out. Justin or Paul. I don't even know what the hell that means. What's going on from Phoenix? Good afternoon. Hope everybody's doing great in the chat. Just if you're popping in here. My favorite highlight for the entire event was the breakout sessions. I really thought that was a cool idea. I know the panels are great, but if the panel isn't something that you're interested in, or maybe the panel is something you're interested in, but you want to just ask your question in a more small private setting. Maybe you don't want to stand up in front of 300 people and ask your question, even though they did have a question hotline, which was pretty awesome considering last year it was just like the Office episode where there's two mics and then everybody just tries to line up and then Dwight's going back and forth trying to get to it. So the phone number that you text your questions to and then Josh reads them was amazing. But I think the breakout sessions were great to have a smaller group of people so people could get in. Oh my God, I'm going to have to kill this camera. The short form content was by far my favorite as far as like panel or breakout or learning, just because I've been on the fence about YouTube since I started going full speed on Whatnot. I mean, when you're streaming 16, 17 hours a week, like the last thing you want to think about is editing a video or anything like that. And so knowing that there is a very large growing space in short form content, and those I can usually, like I made a reel today or a short that I'm going to drop after this, and it probably took me 15 minutes. That's way faster. And I think it's much funnier and it gets right to the point, and which is what 90% of society is all about, just getting to the point now. I think Wyatt from I can't ever say his name, Reselling, Rewildered. His name's Wyatt. I think he posted something that said like 73% of YouTube views is from short form content, and that's awesome. So I'm really going to make it a point this year until next Flipcon. I do believe there's going to be another Flipcon. It's not going to be from Josh and Haley, but I do believe that the rights, the name, the branding was sold. And so hopefully we'll have another Flipcon next year. But I've made it a goal that by next year at Flipcon, I will be much larger in the short form content space. Probably not big enough to be on a panel about it, but I am really going to push to focus on short-term content, to the point where I thought I'd never say this. I never thought I'd say this. We're on TikTok, ladies and gentlemen. Flip the World TX. Hit us up. Hit us up on TikTok. Stacy's going to control that. I'll just send her the shorts and she will take care of all of the rest on there. I'm not a big social media person. I don't have a Facebook. I do pretty good with a Flip the World Instagram. As far as my personal Instagram, it's pretty much died within the last like 3 years. I get on there maybe 10 minutes a month. I focus on the grind and just living my life instead of living vicariously through other people's lives on what they're doing on social media. So Flip the World TX on TikTok, Flip the World TX on Instagram. Those are going to be the best places to find us, but we're going to start taking off. That's the main thing I learned during the short form content is that none of the guys that were talking about short form, none of them mentioned Instagram. And that's the only place I've been posting my shorts. Not a single one of them mentioned Instagram. TikTok is where the money's at, so I'm not going to waste my time posting these amazingly hilarious shorts and not get paid for it. No, I'm just kidding. We're just trying it out. We're going to see if that's what we can do, if we can grow it over there. Yeah, Carrie did get me in trouble. He didn't know that that Flip the World Instagram is shared. Stacy and I both run it, so we both have it on our phone logged in. So sometimes, usually if Stacy responds to a DM, it's going to say -Stacy, and it'll be a nice response. Not that I'm not a nice, not that my DM responses aren't nice. It's just you can definitely tell the difference between ours. Hers is like, you read it bubbly. Anyway, he was like, glad you're on TikTok. Don't look at the dancing girls. And then she was just like, I will cut his balls off. And he's like, oh my God. He didn't know that we both ran it. So anyway, it's on Stacy's phone. So, she can look at all the dancing whores and helicopter guys. But again, we're just going to try and grow it out. Also, if you missed Flipcon, and this camera thing is really bugging me, so I appreciate you guys hanging in there. This is my computer letting me know that it's time. It's time to just get rid of this damn thing. I need a new one. We had Flip the World condoms that we passed out as our swag. Flip the World condoms we had made for Flipcon. We wanted to promote safety. We got 8 kids. Obviously, we're not using the damn things. So we had 250 that we took with us, and I want to say we came back home with about 150. So a lot of people either just didn't enjoy, didn't get the humor, or frankly, just don't use the damn things. There was a lot of old people there. I imagine a lot of them don't use them. But anyway, so we got a bunch of swag that we came back with that we're gonna keep trying to use, and I am going to smash my face against the screen. And then, of course, I rated the Whatnot table. I took a ton of the Whatnot totes. I got a bunch of the Goodwill totes. It was the last Flipcon that was hosted and run by Harry and Hairytornado. I do not believe it's going to be the last Flipcon. I believe that they did sell the branding and rights and all that. So we should see more in the future. Let me see if I move this. Maybe I don't think the cord is coming undone, but it's quite annoying. Quite annoying. Yeah, there should be another one next year. I haven't been to like the Boss Reseller Remix or any of the other reselling events, so I can't compare them, but I will say that this I didn't, other than one lady just that had like an outburst against Goodwill. It wasn't really about at the Goodwill guy that was there speaking. It was literally just about Goodwill, which, we all have our qualms with thrift stores at times. We all have our issues with eBay and Mercari, Poshmark, et cetera, et cetera. So beyond that, everybody there was just super chill. I didn't see anybody that looked or felt like, and I didn't talk with anybody that like felt like they were left out. You could literally walk up to anybody and start talking to them. Nobody was like a a rock star or anything like that. At least that's how I took it. I was walking around talking with everybody. I had people coming up talking to me. Um, everyone was engaging with everyone. It was like a giant reselling orgy. And again, that was the whole reason for us bringing the condoms, is because we were all just getting there to have a mental orgy. And I don't know, I just, being in a space like that for a couple days, and just, it really puts you in a different mind space. And I think that's why you're seeing so many people doing lives and like bringing on people they met and like reliving it, is because it really does help. Because then you go back to your state, you go back to your, if you're full time, you go back to working, you go back to the grind. If you're part time, you go back to your real job and then get back into the thrift on the side. Um, I think I think it's good to have those events where you can pop in and just kind of recharge your battery, because a lot of people say this all the time. What's going on, Bartermania? Thanks for popping in. Um, this is a lonely profession. Being an entrepreneur, being a reseller is a lonely profession. I'm in a great, very unique position where my partner is also involved in it. Um, so it's not a lonely venture on my end, but I do see a lot of people that have spouses that are doing something else. And for them, it becomes a lonely thing. So it's really good. I think it was a really good charge for the batteries for everybody to just come together and just be like, hey, there are people out here that have my back, that are going through the same thing. I'm not alone. This is this is something that we all deal with, and we can get tips and tricks on how to just keep it going. And we've made new contacts where maybe, somebody reaches out to you and they're just like, hey, I really liked what you said about this. And, I'm going to try and going forward for the next year. I use the next Flipcon as my gauge, kind of like it's the New Year's resolution, the Flipcon resolution. My Flipcon resolution is to be better and more advanced at long form content by next year's Flipcon. And so what do you guys guys that are in the chat, what is your Flipcon resolution that you've told yourself, I'm going to work on this for the next year? I'm really going to focus on this. Let me know. Devin said, do you think Whatnot is transparent enough with buyer feedback? I recently got a warning for getting a 1-star, but Whatnot said they cannot share the info with me. Yeah, so something that I learned yesterday when I started playing around on the computer, there's the question on the screen, guys. Something that I learned yesterday is Whatnot now has they've always had analytics, but now they have a metric system for grading you, kind of like eBay, like not top rated or anything like that, but they do show, they kind of rate you, and it tells you how many on a couple different scales. And I noticed, like, I have one lady that she bought like 15 things for me on 2 shows, but because she bought all those things, she has the potential to give me 15 ratings. And I've talked about this before. She wasn't happy with some of the items. So what I did is, and this is how I personally handle things on Whatnot. This is how I used to handle it on eBay. I'm getting the stuff for a thrift store, and I'm almost never paying like more than $2 for anything. So it's just too much of a hassle to deal with returns. I just refund them 100% and just tell them to keep the stuff. So let's say she bought 15 things and, she didn't like 3 of them. I gave her money back for all 15 things. She can keep whatever. It just, that's the easiest way I've come up with to just nip it in the butt because I don't want to deal with it. It's not worth my time. I learned long ago it's not worth my time. Just give them their money back and move on, take the L. So I did that. And then she still just continually 1-star reviews trying to bring us down on Whatnot. And when you get like 8 in a row, even though you have nothing 5-star ratings, 3,750 5-star ratings, when you get that many 1-star ratings after another, Whatnot's going to send you a little message, send you a flag like, hey, something's going on. I did email them and just kind of explained what was going on. I had good thing. The messaging in the app, you can't delete messages. Once you message someone in Whatnot, it does not come off. You can't delete it. It archives and it's just there. So I just shared the message. I was like, look, I refunded her for everything. She got 100% of her money back, got to keep the merchandise that she wasn't complaining about. So please take that into consideration when you're looking at these 1-star reviews. I believe that she's maliciously trying to do this. Even though she was 100% refunded. So, Devin, to answer your question, I would just keep moving forward, man. Get those 5-star reviews. And one thing also that it shows me is it'll show you how many people have reviewed you from a show. So like I sold 110 items and it shows that 80 people reviewed me. That means there's like, what is that? 32 people or 32 of those items were not reviewed or rated. So I'm going to start focusing on in my streams, making sure I tell people, hey, if you've purchased from us recently, or if you're purchasing us from today, please make sure when you receive your item, if everything is 100%, leave us a rate. I'm not going to tell them to leave me a 5-star. I'm just going to say, please rate your item, because those rates are now being used as metrics on Whatnot. I think the reason they started doing this is there's a lot of there's no easy way to say it. There's just a lot of shit sellers on there that are not conducting business properly. And that's because that's always going to happen when new apps come up. They're going to just bring in a bunch of people to sell, and then they have to start weeding it out. And we all knew it was eventually going to happen. And that's great. It's actually, I know a lot of people are like, well, that's a negative, but it's actually a positive, because you want to know that when you go to your app, when you go to Whatnot, you want to know that the people you're purchasing from are good sellers. And so for them to internally come up with this system, and then they're starting to weed out the people that suck and that are not running it properly. I think it's in the long term, it's going to be, I don't think it's the camera, Stacy. I think it's the computer. It's actually the computer, because running live stream, it takes a lot of RAM, and this is like a 13-year-old computer. So next investment is maybe a laptop. I don't know. I keep a laptop in my back pocket. My gun will go off when I half cock it. Sorry. Yeah, you saw the lady with the video. Your goal is, Gerald, your goal is to quit your job. That's awesome. That's a good focus on long form content. Look at you going the other direction. Nice. Well, I'm going to remember Gerald's going to, by next Flipcon, hopefully Jared's closer, if not already, quit his day job and his full time. And then I'm going to resell it. We're going to see how those long forms are going. I don't know how many you have right now, but we'll see how many videos you've uploaded by next year in August. But yeah, so they are working on, they do have a new like analytics that will grade you as a seller. So just be aware of that. You can see it when you click on the Whatnot. If you get onto a desktop and pull up your seller analytics, it's going to be a red square at the top letting you know that they now have a metric score for you as a seller, and it'll show you what area. Aussie picker, streaming clear down under. Aussie picker was picked by me for a street fight team as an Aussie picker, or was that the Aussie flipper? I don't know. They're all the same, right? No, that's wrong. I met somebody. It was so funny because we met people from Australia at Flipcon. We come back to Houston. I go to the bins yesterday to do what we do on Whatnot, and I meet a guy that flew here from New Zealand just to thrift in Houston. So awesome. I was like, man, there's a lot of new faces here. I've only been gone a few days. And then my buddy, common thread was like, oh, this is blah, blah, blah. He actually flew in from New Zealand just to thrift here for like a week or so. He's staying at an Airbnb in Southwest Houston. So I'm telling you guys, Houston's where it's at. I was going to share this on Instagram, but you know what? I'll give you guys the sneak peek. I'll share it right now with you first before I put it on Instagram. This is direct. I know you can't see it on the screen because it's too bright, but let me see if that dropped it a little bit. Can you see that now? Can you see that now? It says, how many Goodwill locations are there in the United States? This is from Goodwill. There are a total of 4,245 Goodwill locations in the United States as of April 21st, 2021. The city with the most number of Goodwill locations in the United States is Houston, Texas, with 35 locations, which is 1% of all locations in the United States. So, guys, when I keep telling you over and over and over again that Houston is the thrift mecca, I ain't lying. We got 6 Goodwill outlets, aka the bins. That's more than anywhere else. And then we have a multitude of family thrift centers. We have a multitude of Salvation Armies. We have all kinds of mom and pop thrift stores. We got rag houses. We got it all, baby. Houston is on the map, which is why we have said multiple times we are trying to come up with a Houston event. Nothing like Flipcon, no panels, no talking, no. What we want to do is something like a bins crawl, where we just find a hotel that can suit everybody, make it like a one-day event. Everybody stays at the hotel or surrounding, whatever you want to do. We have a party bus or a shuttle, meet at the hotel in the morning. Everybody gets on and we go to all the bins locations in Houston. And then we take you back to the hotel. Everybody gets cleaned up because you're definitely going to want to wash the bins off of you. And then we go and have a big dinner. And then that's where we can just engage and network and do all that fun stuff. And then you send you back on your way so you can have withdrawals from how awesome it is here. So that's something that Stacy and I are going to start really focusing on planning. We want to make sure that it's going to be in a time that works for people. Again, I think it's easier for people to make like a 1 day / 2 day, 1.5 day event versus like a 3 day. We're going to try and do it sometime next year that's not going to interfere with any of the other regularly scheduled events. I know a lot of people couldn't do Flipcon because it literally, the first day of Flipcon was the first day of school for a lot of people. And I get that. It's also just a really great time for an event. So that's why it kind of coincides with that. So we want to try and figure out a time that's not going to kill everybody, because Texas, especially Houston, gets ridiculously hot. We are under heat advisory for the next 8 days. The feels like is like 114 outside. So we want to make sure that we can get this. We don't want it to be in the summer when everybody has to stay home with their kids, or they can't find somebody to watch the children or a sitter. But I don't want it to be in between any events that are coming up. I think Boss Reseller Remix is in October. So August, September, October. So maybe something in September we could try and figure out I know school will be in session then, but maybe we could try in the spring. I don't know if anybody's doing anything in the spring. So we're going to try and figure it out, plan it. And again, I think it might not be so stressful because it's literally just going to be find a central location that we can get a shuttle bus to, and then take you guys to where all the magic happens. And then have a big dinner, and then everybody can stay in town if they want the following day. You know, people can meet up, breakfast, go back thrifting on their own. They can go to the other thrift stores. They can go to the Alamo. It's 2 hours to San Antonio if you want to go to the Riverwalk and the Alamo and the thrift stores there. There's so much to do. So that's what we are working on. It's going to be the Flip the World Army, like Ben's Crawl. So keep that in the back of your head that sometime next year we're going to announce that. 2:30 a.m. Wow. It is way too early for you to be up, so I appreciate that. Innocent 8 days without rain and over 95 degrees. Jesus. That is nuts. That's awesome. I mean, it's not awesome that you guys need rain. It's awesome that it's 2:30 in the morning and the Aussie picker is watching. So that's pretty awesome, matey. No, see now when Stacy does her Australian impersonation, she says matey, and I'm like, so first off, you sound British, and matey is pirate, so you're a British pirate. So you guys, next time, whatever event you see her at, just walk up to her and say, "Let me hear your Australian accent." It is great. Matey. Um, yeah, other than that, we just got back to here and we got right back to work. Went to the bins yesterday. First day back's always a little brutal. Stacy was running errands yesterday, so that was like really my first time doing a whatnot show solo, which I mean, I've already said that this would happen this way before, but being able to actually do it, I know that saying it before was 100% right. It is very hard to do by yourself. So first off, I got there early. I still got 2 carts because I just like told everybody that she was going to show up later because you only allowed 1 cart per person and there's only 19 carts for the entire store. Cheerio, matey. That's what she says. So I still got 2 carts, which is pretty awesome. And my mind, I already knew that I was going to be running the whatnot with only 1 cart, and I already had a plan in action for what I was going to do. But I was able to grab 2 carts, so I got the second cart, threw a sheet over it, put it in my corner, and then with the other cart, I just went to digging. So typically, if you're not familiar with what we do on Whatnot, we go live from the bins, and I dig for 1 hour. I dig from 8 to 9, and then I'm in the corner sorting everything. And at 9:30, I start manually inputting everything into the Whatnot show, preloading the store, so I can be ready to go at 11 o'clock. So because I was by myself, that means I have to dig longer than an hour, but I still wanted to start at 11. So I just really ignored everyone, buckled down, and just sourced and sourced and sourced and just took piles of stuff. And then I sorted it and threw out stuff that I didn't really want to mess with. I still started the stream at 11 with over 100 items in the store, which is awesome that I was able to find over 100 items. But they had only did 1 rotation. Crikey, you sound British, mate. They only did 1 rotation before my stream started. And then once my stream started, then they started doing rotations, but I'm by myself, so I can't go digging it. So I was just at the mercy of running the items that I found and hoping they sold. Typically, we're going to run probably 200 plus items and sell over 100 something items. Yesterday, I ran over 115 items and I think I sold 82 items. So just a real learning experience. I already knew that that's how it was going to go. sometimes I might have to just run a show by myself, because life does happen. We do have too many children, and sometimes we have to inoculate all of them at the same time for like their teeth, or when we try to schedule doctor's appointments, dentists, eye doctors, we try to do them all at once instead of scheduling it out. So sometimes that's going to happen. But I just need to know that I am going to we're going to make significantly less money unless I just happen to pop in and find amazing stuff. But it's fine. We still have what, 11 more shows for the month, and we can always add shows. That's the great thing about our schedule is we go 4 days a week. If we have a bad show, if we have to miss a day, if something happens, we get sick and we're like, hey, I don't want to work today, I don't feel good. The whole reason that we do what we do is because we can move stuff around and base our income on our life instead of our life on our income. So since yesterday was not a great show, I'm probably going to do a show this weekend, or we can just do 5 days next week and just not have a podcast on Tuesday. But we have a lot of options. So that's something that we enjoy doing. That's the reason why we love that's the reason why we love being resellers, but that's the reason why we love being whatnot sellers is you can do it anywhere, and you can move everything around your schedule instead of you around your job or your bills. Do you throw back what doesn't sell? So typically what we do is if we run something, we think that it should sell. If it doesn't sell, I put certain things in a pile, and then at the end, the last thing I run, I call a leftover lot, and I run it all for one money. So it's like a reseller lot. I run it all for one money. Highest bidder takes it. And usually that stuff you can make money on because it's like a reseller box. Because, most of the stuff that we pick, we've sold before on eBay, or we know sold comps and things like that. Unless it's like a one-off, like we know certain people like certain things in our stream. So those things, if I run it and nobody bids, if it's not something that I would sell on eBay or Poshmark or Mercari, I'm going to put it back. But for the most part, the stuff we'll put into a leftover lot and sell it at the end. What's up, Patriot Reseller? Guy 60, aka the Patriot Reseller, made his YouTube debut. He was getting interviewed. People were taking pictures with him. He got a Flip the World Army tattoo. That's another highlight for me from Flipcon. Is 60, aka the Patriot Reseller, got Flip the World Army tattooed right there in the Vato Loco ditch. So now there's 3 people on the planet that have a Flip the World Army tattoo. There's your boy, there's Stacy, and now there's 60, aka the Patriot Reseller. But yeah, man, he got picked first for a street fight because of his military background and because he looks crazy. He was in a bunch of YouTube videos. Boy is blossoming. I don't know where the hell that word came from. A Stacy is needed at the bins. Yes, a Stacy is needed at the bins. That was a redundant statement, Stacy. Somebody needs to feel good about herself, apparently. Yeah, so anyway, how's that tattoo looking, man? Did it all fall out already? I went over it like 15 times. I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to fall out. I took 2 needles. One because I knew I was going to be tattooing Levi, the Patriot Reseller. And then another one I took because I was hoping that Haley would tattoo her initials next to Josh's on my thigh. But she didn't seem on board with it. So maybe next year. Maybe when she's not a host and has to do 500 things. Maybe next year I can get her to put her John Hancock right next to her hubby's on my thigh. Oh, another thing, catering. It's scabbed over. Oh, God, that means I went too deep. My bad, bruh. My bad. Hand jammers are hard because you want to put it in deep enough to where you make sure that it's not going to, especially because I think you work outside. You work with your hands. That sun's going to bake it. It's going to pull that ink out. I wanted to make sure that bad boy was in there for life. Plus, you're left-handed, I believe, and it was on your left hand. So I got a lot of things against me on that. So I hope it stays. I hope it stays. The catering, guys, as you know, I'm a big old fat vegan. They went out of their way to have the hotel prepare me special meals that they brought to me on a silver plate with a topper, and they took it off and you saw the steam and it was next level. So anybody that went to Flipcon that has anything bad to say about it, I'm gonna find you. Seriously. It was a great time. All around great time. And then now we're back to normal. It was. What's up, Katie? Yeah, it was real nice. I did not anticipate that. I know that they said there would be like vegetarian options. So like at the breakfast, the vegetarian options was potatoes and coffee, which I had both of. And then lunch and dinner is where they really went all out. They made me like like some kind of spinach quinoa dish with shaved Brussels sprouts that have been sauteed in like some, oh my goodness, don't start. I actually asked them if they had any extra, so they brought me another one, which I ate in the room about 4 hours later, cold. It was so good I ate it cold. But yeah, nobody got in the pool. I will say that they have an indoor outdoor heated pool, and I didn't see one person get in the pool at all. Not that I'm a big pool person. I just imagined an indoor pool, an indoor heated pool. I imagined people would get in there, but nobody got in the pool. But everybody seemed to figure out where the bar was. So that was fun. And the pool was closed for maintenance. Okay. That's what we told our kids too. So that works. Great. We told the kids the pool was closed because they were like, "Can we go swimming?" And I was like, "Hell no. I don't need you acting a fool right next to the bar where everybody's going to be like, whose kids are those?" I'm like, "You know whose kids those are." So instead they ran up and down the hallways, which people kept coming up to us and they're like, "We met your kids." And I'm like, "Oh my God, where are they?" "They're running up and down the hallway." Grandma and grandpa live about 2 hours away from Charlotte, maybe 2.5, 3 hours away from Charlotte. So they came up and they watched the little ones for us. And guys, I got to stop what I'm doing. Here we go. Let's just do this.
Hello.
Hello. Oh my God, I love you so much.
Can you
there,
hear
guys?
me?
Now you can say all the bad things you were saying earlier about Flipcon, even though you didn't attend it. What's up, man?
I could use some negative comments. I'm tired of all the people saying it was great. I'm like, surely there was something you would have wanted to do differently.
Did you just wake up? Your hair is mighty disheveled, my man.
No, I slept late today, and then I did a kickboxing class, and I had my hat on for part of it, and I just haven't done anything else today.
Dang, pickleball, kickboxing. This
So I did
dude is all over
kickboxing
the
from
place.
10 to 11, and then we have pickleball from 6 to 7:30, and then I'm playing in a kickball game today from 8 to 9. So I'm basically like a superstar athlete.
Yeah, about to say you're just an award-winning athlete.
Yeah.
Does it make you want to do it again? Oh no. It could have been everyone telling him it could be amazing and he still doesn't want to do it again.
I don't know. Like honestly, like I knew it was gonna go over well. Like barring any like crazy bad things that happen, like we were very well prepared for it this year. And I knew people would like it. I'm like, okay, Haley, people are gonna say like all sorts of nice things, hopefully, but we can't let that like motivate us to do it again. Like we had already made the decision to like this had to be our last year. It's so much that goes into it. And I love to be a part of it. Like I'm like, whoever I sell it to, I'm like, I want to show up and like do the karaoke and do all the fun stuff and like have like an opinion, but I don't want to be held responsible for all of the logistical side of things. So I'm like, I'll just hand over that. And then
does the hotel enjoy the event? Like, is it something they look forward to as well? Because I imagine there's not much going on second week of August in Charlotte.
I mean, they do a lot of like smaller events. So like the last day we were there, they had a small event in one of the breakout rooms, and they had a small event right the day we got there, like the Tuesday that we all got there. So I don't know if they do too many big events, but obviously, I mean, they're super easy to work with. I mean, because they're making a ton of money from us.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I think we did like the food cost and the hotels for like the speakers, I think ended up being like $66,000 plus like another 400 room nights from all the people who attended. So 400 times $119 a night. So that's like, I don't know, like 120, $130,000 that Flipcon in general brought into the hotel. So obviously obviously they like us.
Yeah.
But they're really easy to work with. Like when Cracker Barrel was late, the hotel lady brought like some scones and stuff to add to our table. She didn't charge us anything for that. One of the guys dried my Trash to Cash podcast shirt for me because I washed it in the sink, and I was like trying to find a quarter to use the they had like washer and dryers in the basement. It was like coin operated. He's like, just give it to me, I'll dry it. We have a dryer back here. So small stuff like that.
That's funny. I was using the hair dryer in the room to just
Mhm.
dry the collar of my shirt because I was just sweating because I had a necklace on and then the thing and then of course the 500 cups of coffee nonstop. So I was just like trying to dry it like that. And then someone was like, they had told me that there's a dryer in the basement. And I was like, there's a basement? We don't have basements here. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. So guys, if you didn't know, this is Josh. You guys know who this is.
Well,
What is one thing that everybody's talking about the positives. What's something that in your mind maybe you're like, oh, I wish that would have been done differently, or
yeah, I wish we would have had the panels come before the breakout sessions on two things. So we did like the first day we did a breakout on like live selling and social media, but then the next day we did panels on those things as well. And it would have made more sense to have the panels come first to like cover all the basic stuff and then have the breakout sessions for anything that wasn't clear in the panels. So that's something hindsight. I wish I could change that.
see as a speaker, I enjoyed that being it that way because I felt like I got the rust off, or I got okay, this is what's going to kind of feel like on stage. Plus everybody in a smaller room, everybody hit us with those questions we really didn't want to answer in front of everybody.
Yeah. I kind of wish I wouldn't have. I was surprised that somebody asked the question about the auctioneer's license or whatever, and I knew Whatnot wasn't going to answer it because they just can't get into that. But I gave a really good answer because somebody made a YouTube video saying basically there's a lot of states where it's illegal to run an online auction unless you have an auctioneer's license. And South Carolina is one of those. I mean, there's like 20 or 30 of them that have, even selling on eBay, even running an eBay auction, it's technically illegal. And I looked it up and I emailed them. I emailed like the board of auctioneers or whatever in South Carolina. I never got a response. And I'm like, it's just a bunch of old people that are auctioneers that just want to make these laws because they don't want some nobody coming in and taking their local business.
Exactly.
Like we're selling stuff online. It's not that big a deal. And again, worst case scenario, it's an online auction. So like if you do want to do it legally, just open up an LLC in Delaware or somewhere where it's even tax advantaged, and then just use, if you could get really legit with it and use like a what is it called? Surfshark and VPN, and then just run your auction online from that state with that LLC, and then the state of whatever your state in would have no jurisdiction over you anyway because you're not operating out of that state. Yeah. So that's what on that end. Again, I don't think anybody's going to care,
Yeah, I think if something did happen, it would happen with Whatnot first, and then sprinkle out to the people on there because it's like, hey man, I just signed up and you approved me. I don't.
But I mean, eBay's been doing auctions for 25 years.
Yeah, I mean, you used to be able to send checks to people. Now no one knows what a check is.
Shopgoodwill.com is all auctions. Do you think Goodwill employees all have auctioneer's license?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not, if it was like a small thing, like I just do it. Like you're supposed to have a drone pilot's license to use drone footage in a YouTube video. So I like studied for like 2 days, took the test, and now I'm a drone pilot. But the auctioneer stuff is in South Carolina. It's like 100 hours of classwork and like $2,000 to take the test. And I'm like, this is stupid. I don't have 100 hours of my life to give to you.
A freaking pickleball playing kickboxing drone pilot. The resume
I do it all, folks. You get everything. Shagan's in the chat. What's up, man? Hope you had a great time at Flipcon. Excited to have you there.
One of the things I actually, because I went to both guys. One of the things I actually enjoyed the most was the breakout sessions. The only thing I didn't like is I could only go to one. So, you know, I went to the short form because I'm really focusing on concentrating on the short form content. So of course I went to that one, but then it's like, oh man, I kind of want to bump into the other two. And I was like, I know Stacy's not going to let me just send her to another one.
Yeah.
So
Somebody said that about taxes too. Like I thought, I was like, I don't know if anybody's going to be interested in taxes at all, but we'll have it as a breakout session just in case. And that room was packed. And Justin said people were, you know, they could have been in there for 2 or 3 hours. And a bunch of people say, I wish the taxes portion was like a main stage event. So we all could have got it. And I'm like, I mean, how many times can we go over the same information over and over and over again, you know?
Yeah, I think that's because it's like, that's the thing most people are scared about is the taxes. And so when you have somebody and you're like, oh, let me just ask every single question I have. Oh, that's the other thing. The message, the number system to just send messages instead of the 2 microphones and everybody stands up. Genius. I don't know who came up with that. It was genius.
That was me. I didn't.
Is that number still active?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
I actually thought about emailing it out to people at Flipcon or putting it on the Facebook page just for like the next 30 days. Like, hey, that comes straight to my phone. If you have any questions or anything that comes up that you didn't get answered at Flipcon, just text me and I'll answer, because I can handle that. You know, if it's just 250 people to have access to that number, half of them aren't going to text anyway, and the other half would be like they realize that I don't have time to answer like everything, so they'll be good with their questions. So I'll probably do that today, honestly.
Well, I put it on the wall at a few Buc-ee's here as soon as I got back to Houston.
Call for a good time.
Yeah. And then I saw Dave had it on his video that he just dropped. So if you start getting a bunch of weird stuff, it's either from Dave or my camp.
Yeah. I'm thinking about using it for the feedback as well, because I'm not going to do an anonymous survey because it's not my event anymore. But I am just curious. So maybe like, hey, because I guess it's technically anonymous. Like, I see your phone number. I don't have your number saved. And it gives me a chance to like have a conversation with people without knowing who they are. So I'm like, just text me. If you have any issues that you want to discuss from the event, text me and we can talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to like as many people as I could. Like, if anybody was walking by me or in close proximity, I'd at least ask, how you doing? How's the event going? Like, did you come last year? Dude, nobody said anything negative. Like, nothing. Like,
I didn't. I think I heard 2 ladies say that they didn't like the breakfast. They're like, oh, this Cracker Barrel is just so greasy. I'm like, that's the good part. That's what makes it good.
Oh yeah. So 2 people complaining it's so greasy, and yet the bacon both days was the first thing to go.
Yeah.
They ran out of bacon both days, which I don't know, you guys. It speaks a lot of volume about you resellers out there with your pork and consumption.
That is a lot of pork. The first day we were supposed to have different biscuits. We had like sausage biscuits, ham biscuits, country ham biscuits, bacon biscuits, and plain biscuits. And we had like 100 of each. So there wasn't enough bacon for everybody. We had like 200 strips of bacon, but they didn't make the biscuits. They just gave us a bunch of plain biscuits and a big thing of bacon.
Yeah.
So everybody was just like grabbing bacon. I was like, those are supposed to be for the biscuits.
You just see piles of bacon. I was like, everybody here's on the carnivore diet. What is going on?
Yeah.
Man, it was a great event.
Stacey Macy says, if trash to cash was positive, I don't think there would be a negative. Yeah. That's one thing I do like about Dave. Like, even though he was like a paid speaker, like he still like is honest about stuff. He's like, I didn't really like that, so I didn't watch that. Or I didn't like his video last year. He was like going down the buffet line. He's like, I didn't like that. That was gross. That was really good. I didn't like that very much. Like he like whatever Dave says generally is like his honest opinion, and he's not biased about anything. So I appreciate that. And he didn't really have anything negative to say.
No. I think he kept that in the group text with me and Carrie and
yeah.
No, there wasn't anything negative, and he was pretty spot on about the things that he said he didn't. But I thought that was the whole point of you putting a schedule out. It's like, hey, if you're not interested in these panels, this is your time to like walk around and network, and not everybody's going to be sitting down.
Yeah, it's tough to come up with topics that are like interesting for everybody too. Like, somebody texted me a yawning emoji during the health and fitness panel. I'm like, I don't know who it was. It was just a random person. So I was like, I mean, even if you're not like into health and fitness, that's not your thing. Like, it's still a good thing to like at least be conscious of.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Hey, like everybody there could do something to improve their physical fitness. And usually there's a direct correlation between like your physical fitness level and like how well you can focus on your business.
Yep.
Like I'm fat now, but I used to be like 230 pounds and I got down to like 170 pounds and now I'm like 220 again. But when I was 170, I was like, you just feel a lot better, honestly.
So I had
know I
the
gotta get back on track.
I have the of course it's the free one, so I can't. So I have the Steps app on my phone, and it's just running constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And the green was Flipcon.
Yeah.
So I mean, health and fitness, I was getting it in.
There was a lot of walking.
7.8 miles on the first day, which was airport and all that good stuff. And then on the last day, it was 10.5 miles, which of course is the airport and a lot of walking.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's the thing that I was thinking about. Like, as this grows, you have to come up with, you don't have to come up with different panels every year. Because a lot of people, it's going to be a lot of new faces, some old, some new, but you know, like how many years is the hand pink waving? I don't know what that means.
I think it's supposed to be an emoji. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, that is the tough part about like reseller conferences. Like if you do it every year, you have to like, how are you going to do it better next year, or who are you going to get better next year to speak? The Boss Reseller Remix, I think they've been doing it for 3 or 4 years now.
Yep.
And they wanted like change up the speakers. I'm like, there's only so many people in the reselling community that at least have a social media presence. I'm sure there's fantastic sellers out there that I just don't know about. I think that was one complaint that we got last year is like, oh, they just picked a bunch of their friends to speak. I'm like, yeah, well, that's who I know.
That's how it works.
I'm like, there was one guy, I don't know if his name's Brad. He's an Amazon video game seller. The #1 video game seller on Amazon, does like $15 million a year. And he's just like in the audience. And he was there last year too. I was like, Brad, you're going to speak next year. If you come back, I'm going to have you as a speaker. And he's kind of shy, but at least he seems shy. But I mean, there's people like that all over that just are making so much money that they just don't have time to build a brand.
Yeah.
So I'm like, building a brand is how you get to speak at places like this, because otherwise people don't know who you are. Even like Tiffany, like I don't think anybody there knew who Tiffany was beforehand. I mean, I did because we met on Instagram, but if I hadn't followed her on Instagram, how would I know who she was?
Exactly.
You know, even though I feel like she had really good information to share.
It's kind of the whole point of it all. Was there anyone there that attended this year that you were surprised that they were there?
Paul, honestly, like Paul sent me the screenshot of when he bought the ticket, and like Paul and I aren't enemies or anything. We've just been like, I wouldn't consider us friends before this. I think we're friends now. We've had some FaceTime and we actually get to talk to each other. But before we were just kind of doing our own thing, and he was like part of his crowd and I was part of this crowd or whatever. And then when he sent me the screenshot of him, like he actually bought tickets, I was like, man, that's awesome. Like that means a lot. Because I think he like said a couple negative things about the event last year. Not terrible, just like I don't know. But I was surprised to see him there. But I love that he had a good time. Like when he posted what he posted on Instagram, I was like, man, that makes me feel good.
Yeah, when I read his post, I was like, oh, cool. Now I don't have to write anything nice and long and sappy. I can just be me.
You can just be me. Yeah.
I could just be like, great times were had. I came home with way more condoms than I expected. What the hell?
Came home with more than you brought.
Yeah.
Somehow.
The best part of it is I came home with a box that says contraband, and I took it through the airport and they didn't even question it.
Yeah. They're like, clearly there's nothing in here.
They're like, no, that's just a box. That's a cashew box that has condoms in it. Nothing to see here. But they did confiscate. They did confiscate our juice for Riley. They're like, it's only for babies, and that's not a baby. I'm like, well, she's our baby.
She's our baby. All right, I've got a meeting with Whatnot in 2 minutes. 1 minute.
No, that's all right. I'm closing out.
Go ask them for more money.
Thanks for coming on. Again, man, this was an amazing event. Even if I wasn't speaking, I was going to be there. And most importantly, I'm glad that you and Haley got to meet Stacy, and that's another thing. Like you talk about the guy for Amazon video games as being shy. Like Stacy is invisible to the reselling world, and she looked like she was not invisible for those 2 days.
She was awesome. So. There were so many people that were like coming out of their shop. I don't know if I don't remember his name. He had like short blonde hair and glasses, and he was like trying to get up the nerve to do karaoke the last night.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know, I'm just really nervous. Like, I've never done this before. I was like, dude, this is the perfect opportunity. Like, half
Yeah.
people can't hear you, the other half aren't paying attention. So just do it. And
Just
he
have
ended up
fun.
doing like 3 songs. He was like, man, just thank you so much. Like, I never thought I would ever do this. And this has been really fun.
And that's
I
another
love
thing
it.
that transitions outside of it is if you can do karaoke at an event like this, then you can definitely make short form content, or you can make a YouTube video where
Mhm.
nobody is around watching you.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so, are we going to pick our favorite meme? Yeah, probably, because people keep sending them to me, and I'm like, just post them and tag us.
Mine was pretty good.
Yeah, yours pretty good.
We're good.
Yours is one.
Okay, I got to go. Love
Thank
you
you,
so
sir.
much.
Bye. Guys, you heard it from the man, the creator, the innovator. Is there anything he can't do? He resells, he whatnots, he YouTubes, he pickleballs, he kickboxes, he's a drone pilot, and he can't touch the rim on a basketball goal. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about his height. But Flipcon was great. I'm going to be looking back on videos and pictures and the good times and using that as motivation when I get down during the year on, this lonely profession that we all have. Keep doing what y'all are doing. Flip the World Army. We love y'all out here. We'll see you on Whatnot. If you have any questions, like we said on our panel, if you have any questions about Whatnot, if you have any questions about reselling, if you're stuck with something, you can always DM us. We're never too big or too small to we reply to literally everybody. He does the best duck call ever. Stacy will never let me forget that Josh has the best duck call in the world. That's going to be the show today. Again, I like to try to keep it to an hour. This is our off day, so this is where Stacy and I get to hang out before all the kids come home. So I'm going to get these boxes to the post office, and then we're going to hang out. You guys are the best. We'll see you on Whatnot. Flip the World TX on Instagram and now on TikTok. I'm about to drop a new reel right now.